In the intricate dance of human connection, we often feel drawn to and repelled by the heavy undertones that some individuals seem to carry. But in these moments of tension, a deeper, more profound question emerges. Do we understand the difference between a negative experience, a negative person, and the concept of negativity itself? When we feel the urge to distance ourselves, are we truly reacting to the person in front of us, or to the nebulous web of negative feelings we may be weaving into the encounter? With this new clarity, we can untangle the threads of negativity, experience, and personality, allowing us to more fully connect and understand ourselves and others. Distinguishing between negativity, negative experiences, and negative people. Negativity is a perception, a clouded lens through which certain behaviors or emotions might be viewed as draining or distressing. It exists like an energy, often sensed but rarely fully defined. Negative experiences, on the other hand, are situational. They happen in a moment and don't necessarily define an entire person or interaction. A negative person is a label we may attach to someone based on repeated interactions or patterns we interpret as pessimistic or dismissive. But how often do we take a moment to consider whether these elements are distinct? Too often, we blur the lines, mistaking a negative experience for a negative person or confusing situational negativity with a permanent characteristic. A moment of irritability or frustration might be just that, a moment. Yet we cast shadows on the person behind it. In reality, a negative experience is fleeting, tied to the context and emotions of a particular time, while a person's perceived negativity can be a mix of how we interpret their actions and our insecurities. The mirror of perception. When we encounter negativity, whether as a mood or an experience, it can feel raw, stirring up something deeply unsettling within us. We feel the dissonance, perhaps a sharpness in their tone, or a look that lingers a little too long, laced with frustration. Are these cues inherent to the individual, or are we reflecting pieces of our own discomfort, overlaying our unhealed emotions onto them? Each interaction becomes a mirror, one in which we glimpse not just another person, but fractured pieces of our own inner landscape. Their impatience may highlight our own fears of inadequacy, or their mistrust may bring up our insecurities about connection. When someone triggers these emotions within us, it might not always be a sign of their negativity, but rather a call to confront the parts of ourselves that resonate with the discomfort. Are they truly negative? Or do we simply recoil from facing the discomfort they evoke? Separating the three, a practical approach. To truly see each experience for what it is, we can begin by asking ourselves three guiding questions when negativity arises. 1, is this moment inherently negative, or is it a passing experience? Perhaps it's a difficult conversation or a fleeting misunderstanding that stirs a negative reaction. Recognizing that an isolated experience doesn't define a person allows us to release the need to judge or categorize them. 2, am I projecting my own insecurities onto this person? Often, a strong reaction to someone's behavior may signal something unresolved within us. Do they remind us of times we've felt hurt or unheard? This acknowledgement can ease the instinct to label them as negative and shift us toward understanding. 3, does this person consistently embody traits I find challenging, or is this simply a momentary struggle? Patterns matter. If certain behaviors surface frequently and are consistently draining or hurtful, it might be wise to set boundaries, not out of judgment, but out of a need to preserve one's well-being. This separation grants us clarity. Rather than collapsing all negative emotions into one entity, we begin to discern the transient from the intrinsic, freeing us from the impulse to label or avoid. Embracing discomfort as growth. When we step into discomfort instead of turning away, we invite a new perspective, a pathway to self-discovery. Rather than avoiding difficult behaviors, we can choose to lean into the discomfort, accepting the rawness of our reactions as valuable insights. Each interaction becomes a space to ask, what does this person reveal about me? What unexamined fears or biases are they bringing to the surface? This process demands courage, the willingness to confront our own shadows, to feel the edges of unresolved feelings without immediately retreating. In viewing challenging people as teachers rather than threats, we learn to approach negativity as a reflection, a chance to work on our own inner landscape. The power of reframing negativity. Often, what we label as negativity is an illusion, a reflection of our own unaddressed struggles or unmet needs. When we lack trust in ourselves, we might also find it difficult to extend trust to others. This mistrust can warp our perception, leading us to assign blame or misinterpret interactions. Are we seeing others clearly or simply through the lens of our own fears? By recognizing the illusory nature of negativity, we reclaim control over our emotional landscape. Instead of seeing people as obstacles, we can view them as mirrors for our own growth. When we engage with challenging individuals from this vantage point, we shift the focus from external blame to internal understanding, transforming negativity into a tool for deeper awareness. The art of setting boundaries. While embracing discomfort and self-reflection can be transformative, there is also wisdom in knowing when to step back. Setting boundaries is not an act of rejection, but of self-preservation. It is a way to protect our emotional well-being while still allowing for growth. When we find ourselves repeatedly exposed to patterns of behavior that drain or overwhelm, it becomes essential to create distance, not out of avoidance, but out of respect for our own needs. Boundaries help us to stay grounded, ensuring that we don't lose ourselves in others' struggles or carry the weight of emotions that don't belong to us. By mindfully setting these limits, we allow space for our own well-being, keeping our empathy intact while nurturing resilience and inner peace. Conclusion. So, do we avoid negativity, or do we shy away from confronting the shadows within? The answer lies in our ability to distinguish between a negative moment, a challenging experience, and a negative person. By embracing this nuanced understanding, we uncover a path towards self-acceptance and compassion. In this dynamic interplay of human interaction, we learn that what often appears as negative may be a reflection of the parts of ourselves we have yet to understand. Embrace the reflections, separate the layers, and discover the profound insights that lie within each encounter.